You know, we had a good run on Season 2 of the Great One Before Level 60 Challenge, managing to get our Great One Red Deer at level 42 and then following it up with a lot of amazing trophies off of other maps and even giving my friend Nate his chance at getting a super rare for the very first time when he hunted my Silver Ridge Peaks map on this account. It's been a crazy season for sure. We've had a lot of awesome moments, including getting that great one right there. But I think it's time we move on to the next chapter in this series. It's time for Season 3 of the Great One Before Level 60 Challenge. And you guys wanted to see me go for fallow. When I asked about it, I saw more people ask for fallow deer than any other great one, so we've decided that that is going to be what we go for here in Season 3, but in order to do that, we gotta end this account right here and start a brand new game. You know, something that a lot of people don't know is you actually do keep your trophies whenever you click this button right here, so we'll still get to go visit every trophy that we have whenever we want to. And that goes for any series we do on this account. We'll always be able to come back and look at the trophies that we got because it never resets them. No matter what you've done on that account, the trophies will never reset provided you don't like wipe the save files manually by hand. If you're just pressing new game, keep the trophies. That's a question I got so many people asking ever since we started doing this series here with the very first season and the second season. And yes, you do get to keep every single trophy as long as you don't like manually go and wipe all of your save files by hand. Well, let's go ahead and start Season 3 of Great One Before Level 60. We get ourselves a fallow deer Great One before hitting level 60? We're about to find out. You know, as much as we try to minimize the XP gained from other means besides shooting the target animal in this series so that we can level up as slowly as possible and give ourselves a better chance of completing the series, we kind of have to claim the first outpost just so we can even access all of our other gear like the tents. So let's go ahead and do that. Starting fresh. Once again, you love to see it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and grab the 308 if we can. Actually, you know what? Even better. We're going to go ahead and pick up the 308 and the 338 as both of those are going to be rifles that we will need. If you guys didn't know, whenever you buy one of the paid DLCs, you don't have to spend money in-game to get them. So we can get these from the very beginning, and because we own the DLCs, the ammo is also available from the very beginning. However, we don't have the money to purchase it as of now, so we're going to be dealing with 243 soft points to start things out. So let's go ahead and get out there with the 243 and see what we can make happen. And of course, since they give us a few tents and a few like stands and stuff when you first start as well, as long as you own the DLCs, we're going to go ahead and pop a tent in there. That way we can set up wherever we need to for this grind. Oh my gosh, that is what we need. I was just about to talk about how difficult it's going to be to find ourselves a fallow deer out of their drink time, but there we go. That is fallow deer right there. That is exactly what we needed. So that is a male there. We have another male there. Obviously, we don't want to shoot the females because that would be XP that's not going to help get us a great one, as females cannot spawn you a great one. So we're going to go ahead and take this level 4 right here, as he is definitely one that we need to take out if we're going to be herd managing our deer down to try and get better trophies along the way. Let's see if we can just... hopefully that was good enough, but it's hard to say. I think that was a hit right there. You know, even if he doesn't die, we hit him twice, he will die eventually. And honestly, that's going to give us less XP, which is good in the long run if we didn't hit the vitals, but ended up hitting him twice. So it's probably better if we didn't hit the vitals anyway. It's crazy how many things you do completely differently when your goal is to level up as slowly as possible and try to get a great one before hitting that max level. Like, you do things you never would do if you were just hunting normally or grinding normally. But in this situation, we gotta do it if we want to maximize our chances of completing the challenge. There we go, it did finally die, but man, that was a long trek just to get our first fallow deer harvest of the grind. But that's a great way to start the day. 187.78, we got 781 cash, which is the most important part of all of this. Let's click don't show this again. There we go. We now have enough money to go ahead and reset the time and change it to fallow deer drink time so we can actually hunt these things in the most efficient way possible. So I'm not finding anything in this area right now, but this entire coastline typically has like 2 to 3 spots where fallow deer can be. Sometimes even more on some people's maps. So I'm going to place a tent over here where we have it on the main account, and probably next time that I visit here, hopefully we'll be able to see some fallow deer, because it's very rare to have nothing here. And considering I saw nothing, I'm going to assume that either they just haven't arrived, or maybe they're late to their zone. Like, could be anything, but I just find it hard to believe that there would be nothing here. Well, I gotta say, I called it. There we go. We got at least one herd there. I don't see any over there, and looks like we got another herd right there, but that's a 2, so we can leave that level 2. However, both of these guys have to be taken down. So let's go ahead and just get a shot into them. It's going to be so tough to get follow-ups until we get some of the perk and skill points unlocked, because, man, just the follow-up shots are going to be absolutely terrible in terms of, like, how quickly we can do them. I mean, look at that. We literally have to wait for our character to exit the scope and chamber another round. Man, that's definitely going to make this tough, but wow, we got both of them. Okay, so we did get both of them. That's good. Okay, so I had to go AFK for a couple of seconds to get my daughter to bed, but I come back and we've got a solo level 4 here. This is definitely something we need to take down early. This will be the last thing we can shoot in this area, though, as that's going to be 3 kills in one spot. A 4th kill would end up deleting that zone. All right, so here is one of the fallow deer. That is one of the level 3s, 1,159 cash. Love to see it. Let's see if we can get the other 2. It looks like, yeah, both of them are running in this direction, so should be able to grab both of them on our way over here. So here is one of them. That is a 199. This is the solo level 4, so good to get this guy out of the spawn pool. We need to manage down the solos as quickly as we possibly can as we level up and get our first skill point. What are we going to go with? I mean, I think we got to go with locate tracks. Let's just get that done. We can start leveling up the those skills right there. Now, the thing I'm most excited for is when we start getting some of the perk points, because that's really going to help us with making faster shots and being able to take these things down much quicker and more efficiently. That is our 3rd kill right there out of that group. 4th kill in total of this series. I think it's time we move on to a different area and find something else to shoot. But before we go searching, it's time to buy a little bit of ammo. So I think what we're going to do is start out with just the 308 poly tips, because those are going to just be amazing to take down these fallow deer. And then we will work our way up to getting the 338 ammo, but I want to get a little bit more money before we start doing that. And the 308's got less recoil. It's going to be easier to control with no skill points or perk points put in, aside from like a couple early on. Because that 338's going to kick like crazy until we get the recoil control perk. So we really got to make sure that we get up to the recoil control perks as quickly as possible, because they're going to be very, very important in making sure that we can get quick follow-up shots with those larger calibers. And for those curious, the reason that we're going to be trying to get up to using the 338 Morb is because of the fact that it is a gun that you're not allowed to use on fallow deer if you want to get full scores. So it's going to take down the amount of XP we get per kill. It's also going to just make it so they die quicker. It's going to be a win-win for us on a series like this. Well, we've got a herd right here on the river, and honestly, that's a good-looking herd. That might be one we try to make a main zone. Obviously, we're not going to make that solo a main zone, because that is just going to suck to hunt. That's another decent zone right there. Like, we got some decent ones right here. I had to place down our tent and then reset the time to get them to show up, though. So, before I pick up the tent, we need to take a few shots of these things so that we can actually get a few of them before they run away. There we go. We got 2 of them right there, and man, the 308 just makes all the difference in terms of speed. That is crazy. And we've also got these ones, but they're running away, so we'll just attempt to get that guy if we can. Well, we hit him, but we don't have enough breath to be able to actually keep our shot steady enough to take another shot, so that's unfortunate, but 2 dead for sure, and then 1 that's questionable. Am I tripping, or is that a piebald? Man, I can't tell. That thing looks a little strange, but at the same time, it's probably just the lighting. Well, either way, we'll get a shot into it. I don't think that's a piebald, but you never know. It could be. Did we even get vitals? No, we definitely didn't get the vitals. Oh, never mind. We did get the vitals. Okay, we're good. All right, so we have made one of them go alert. I'm going to have to wait a couple seconds for my breath to recover and the heart rate to lower a little bit. That way we can take shots on both of these. We also need to make sure that we can spot this guy. Here we go. Let's wait for this guy to take a drink, and then we'll take a shot on this guy. Because whenever an animal's taking a drink, it takes them a little bit of extra time to lift their head and run away. So that was able to get us an extra kill there that we might not have got if I had not have waited for it to take a drink. So I think what we're going to do is drop the tent right here, as this is a pretty common spot for like the solo deer to go. Let's grab our tent. Okay, it's in slot 1. Yeah, this is a pretty common spot for the fallow deer to respawn as the solos. It's also a place where I've had herds on my main account, and it's very possible that as we go and shoot more deer, new herds might appear, which is a pretty common thing the more you grind. And it's very possible we could get more deer in this area. So I want to have a tent right here, and this also gives us easy access to these zones over here. Okay, so that right there is a level 3 that I believe is small enough to leave for herd management. I believe that is going to be small enough. It's got pretty much the same antlers as a level 2. And unfortunately, that fallow's floating now that we pop back into render, so that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And luckily, we can cross pretty much anywhere here because it's super, super shallow water. Well, it appears I forgot to add another tent to my inventory, so yeah. I wasn't able to jump out and grab that fallow deer. It's in too deep of water, and it's floating that way, and I don't want to go back there right now, so we're going to have to get him later. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way to this outpost, because I am actually going to unlock that outpost, because it's very, very close to where we need to be for a couple of the areas where fallow deer are very commonly found. Now let's just kill that one right there. It's going to be our 11th kill of the grind, and man, we're making pretty good progress already. As we're walking over, though, let's go ahead and unlock the next perk, which actually, what do we want to do? I think maybe sprint and load. Yeah, we're going to start with sprint and load because since we're using the 308 AR, we don't have to exit the scope after every shot anyway, because of the fact that it's not a bolt action. And what is this guy doing? He's being a special fallow deer, I guess. There is this little guy, 182.99, and another fallow deer to the kill count. There we go. There is another level 3 running off. Let's see if we can get a shot into it. And that was terrible because I didn't recover all of my breath before taking the shot. We're going to have to come back for him because that was a solo. Ooh, that is our biggest 4 that we have found so far. It is a solo, though, so we're going to be shooting it. This guy is dead. There we go. That's probably our biggest fallow deer of this entire playthrough, if I'm not mistaken. We have a couple zones over here, this one, as well as a solo there, and then we've got a couple of them right there. Let's go ahead and target these guys first if we can, and that is 2 dead fallow deer. This solo I'm probably going to leave because it might be small enough for this playthrough. We are not going to be managing things down as far as we would if this was our main account because of the fact that we are very, limited on time in this series. We don't want to be spending time just managing every single deer down that we normally would. We're going to get to a point where it's good enough and then just start rotating on a lot of the zones, since fallow deer in general are a lot easier to get quick great ones compared to stuff like the red deer and the black bear and stuff like that. So we likely will not be doing as extreme of a level of herd management as we have on our main account. I mean, on our main account, we get a diamond every 10 to 15 kills, and, well, we're just not going to have the time to get it to that point on this account. That is our biggest fallow deer of this entire grind, 240.51, so a solid fallow deer, and it's chocolate, so even better. Oh my gosh, we got a bunch of them over here as well. Okay, this is probably going to be an area where we could make this our main grinding zones, like a couple of our main grinding zones, because this right here is pretty amazing. These are positioned so well. We've got a zone over here with a herd, a zone here with a herd, a zone here with a herd. Like, this is a great area. This is a prime example of an efficient hunting area. There's more deer running through here that we could shoot, but I don't want to kill too many and accidentally delete this zone over here. because that would be quite tragic if we lost such a good zone right after we found it. We're going to be extra careful with it just to make sure, even though I technically could probably shoot one more of them. And we're going to go ahead and claim this outpost and get that sweet, sweet level up. And the reason we're claiming this one is because it is right next to some of these zones, and that'll help us hunt them at the beginning here where we don't have a lot of money to purchase tents for every single spot that we want to be hunting. Being able to use an outpost for it is going to be quite helpful. I might even grab this one over here just so that we can look across in this section, because you do get fallow deer in this area. And if I remember to, I'll throw up my fallow map from Tiawaroa so you guys can see exactly where I found fallow deer on the main account when we were searching, because they're in a pretty limited location, which is really, really nice. Now, as for our skills right here, let's go ahead and put one into track knowledge so that we can get information about the animals as we are picking up their zones. That's going to be quite helpful. And here we go! We're almost to the fallow deer that we need to claim. Let's, you know, that was very anticlimactic. I was trying to do a thing where I jump off it and it goes into the water and explodes or something, and yeah, it didn't work out. Well, let's just move along. Let's go claim these things. Got two of them here, a 174 and a 158. Now, the ones that we're going to be keeping as level 2s to stack on the map is going to be all of the ones that score like under 150. That's typically the cutoff that I try to have, is like 150 or less. I'll leave it alive for herd management. If you guys are unfamiliar how herd management works, I've of course got a guide that I will link in the description. But essentially the quick rundown of it is what we're going to be doing is try to get like 70% of the map to be level 2s or low scoring level 3s or lower. And what that's going to do is make the remaining ones spawn as larger animals more often, as the game is trying to compensate for the amount of low levels on the map already. And to answer one question that I know I'm going to get, because it's something that gets asked and confused about quite often actually, and that is the fact that you do need to manage down every single fallow deer group on your map. You can't just like pick 10 of them, manage down 7 of those 10 zones, grind the last 3, and expect herd management to work. It doesn't work like that. You gotta find all your zones and then manage down like 70% of the entirety of your fallow deer population. Like I mentioned though, since this is a great one before level 60 challenge and we have limited time, we may not take it to that full 70% mark. We might stop at like 60, 65, because the last like 10% is going to take the longest, and once you've hit like 60%, you will see an increase in diamonds and stuff, but not to the extent as if you went further, but we'll kind of see how things feel. If we can get it to a really good state before we get the great one, then, you know, it is what it is. We're just going to kind of let this grind end where it wants to end. Oh my gosh, that's a level 1 fallow deer. And I think it's a solo as well. That is like best case scenario, man. That is awesome. And then that is a level 3 solo. We're going to leave him for now. But that level 1 being a solo is huge, man. That is absolutely huge. If that was in a herd, I probably would manage the entire herd down just so we'd keep that level 1. But I think that is going to be the end of episode 1. We got this grind started, got a good amount of fallow deer down on the day, 19 of them to be exact, and ended up finding a good amount of zones along the river, as well as some at this lake over here. Let's check our stats at the end of this right here. We've got 16 harvests. Now, I have killed 19. It says 16 because there was a couple of them that we wounded and were not able to track them down and find them properly because of the low tracking level I've got right now. And then there was one that we forgot to go pick up, which actually I could probably go pick him up now, in fact. So I'll get him after the video. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a comment down below and also press that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content that I put out and appreciate the effort that goes into making pretty much daily content here on the channel. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you all in episode 2. Peace!